Hello fans of Marvel Heroes and friends of my channel, my name is Wilfred and I'm now at the test center just probably a day before the actual nerf patch is coming in. And what you see here is a very nice brand new Avenger Tower that none of us has really asked for, but they probably put a lot of resource into building this one. And well, why not just take a walk here to showcase to you the brand new Avenger Tower. To be honest, the reason why I said that no one really asked for it is because I personally would just like to set my body slide back to training room, because that's the place that I really would like to go there, open chests, open items and so on. But I can't open anything in this place. But well, I mean, it does look kind of nice, very beautiful. Yeah, and there are some fish there as well. Look very nice fishes there. Again, something that I don't know how many of you have really asked for that. And in any case, I seldom hang around in the tower. Most of the time I head to a training room. So now, in this video, I'm going to talk through with you how the final set of blessing coming on board, get you guys prepared, what you're going to do on day one, how you're going to exchange your worthless Hela into something more powerful. And I think before I get there, probably just set some tone here by some of the messages I've got from the forum. And I mean, I think you all probably know who Agent Vapor is. Is one of those developers in Gazillion who has been, I think he's getting more and more prominent in this whole forum and so on. So there's a lot of words there. This is just page 1, you have page 2 as well. So a lot of words there, but I think essentially what I've got is that they are, despite all the feedback we have provided, I've done my best, guys. I mean, I looked through a number. The new Hela blessing is rubbish. And it doesn't even help those hybrid hero, which intuitively you would actually use a Hela for hybrid, because you have pure ranged for Loki, pure melee for Hogan blessing. So intuitively, if you can't do either one of them because you are partly melee, partly ranged, you would pick the third option, the offensive option, which is Hela, but it's going to be a mistake. So they actually acknowledge there's a gap. So they acknowledge there's a gap, but they say that the gap does not warrant, it's not significant enough to warrant, Hela buffing. So I don't understand this. If you feel that there's a gap, then close the gap, right? So what's the problem with that? And that is from the same team who said that a power cosmic is just as good as grade 80 legendary, and we know that it is not. There's a gap there. So I don't know what kind of gap they're talking about. I know what kind of gap they're talking about. It's about 5% down, but I think to them 5% is just nothing. I mean, they even call the power cosmic a legitimate grade 80 legendary. So what can I say, right? So I think they are not. I mean, they try to say that the goal is not to max and min and certain thing goal and whatnot. I think they are also trying to ask you to you have all this blessing, and they know that there's a gap there, and they also know that Hela is not the answer to it. It's more probably like a trap in some sense that when you get it, you actually get it worse off. But what they're saying is that, well, you are expected to close the gap somewhere else, like Omega System. Now, let me remind you something. When Omega System was first come out, there was no interstellar exploration tab to it. Hybrid hero were pretty much disadvantaged because they were not able to make full use of the Omega System. Guess what? A year or two down the road, I think a year or two, I don't know. They have realized their mistake, and they add another tab called Interstellar Exploration to help the hybrid damage type up. So they thought the answer to close the gap was through the artifact which they introduced, but that's not enough. So they rectified their problem, they rectified their mistake, and now they're making the very same mistake on the blessing because they realize that there's a gap, but they say the gap doesn't warrant enough attention, discrepancy to close it, although they know that it's there. And they expect you to close the gap through the Omega System, which is kind of like, is like chasing after some number. So anyway, there's some hope, but contradiction as well. The hope is that they may introduce new blessing in the future, but the contradiction is that, well, they don't want too many blessings to choose from, so making the system harder to grasp. But Gazillion, you don't need to have too many blessings. You just need to make Hela a viable offensive blessing on par with Hogan and Loki. That's all it is. So if you go for pure melee, Hogan, pure range, Loki, right? Both are exactly the same. So you can't really say that I think that range is going to be disadvantaged because you always from a distance always have to nerf the power down a little bit, which usually they do that, but they put both the same. And if you do both melee and range, what should you do? Pick Hela. So that's what I would have done. But anyway, enough talking of that. I think I personally am very disappointed with what they're doing with the blessing. And this new group of developers are not really they are not really accepting new ideas or feedback out there. It seems that they operate like Blizzard. It's like, I know what I'm doing, guys. Don't tell me what is good for my game. This is my game. But it's true. This is their game. If you like this kind of design, then you play it. If you don't, then play something else, right? So now the Hela is going to be plus 400 brutal damage rating and plus 400 brutal strike rating. So if you watch my video before on the update, so it's the same one. What about other ones? So there's only 3 blessing that you need to think about. Forget about Hela. Hela is rubbish, right? So the first one is summon ally damage. So that one is that's nice for summoner. 200 brutal strike rating. Go to the pet. Again, I wish that there was something for the hero as well, because you have 15 summon ally damage. Probably a little bit for the hero damage. Wouldn't harm. Then you have the this one, Hogan, is this one you stack it. So this is good stuff. You have brutal and you have the very nice 300 damage rating to melee power. So I would say if your heroes has about 77% of damage output from melee, just pick this one. Don't even think. That would probably be the case. Although as a hybrid you can't benefit the full. There's a gap there. Remember, there's a gap. But they say that expect to close a gap through the Omega system. And the range one as well is a low key, so it's the same thing. It's 200, 300, 200, 300. It's kind of interesting decision though, because I always thought that they'll put the range a little bit lower than the melee as per tuning of the game, because melee you need to be upfront and sometimes you need to kite around, you can't do damage. And range you can just keep piling up pressure. But I think if they do that, probably there'll be a riot. So anyhow, then you have the if you look through my last video, the damage defense rating is probably one of the better ones compared to the dodge and the flat unnets. You can convert dodge into damage, kind of thing. It helps you with the spike, so your hero don't die from the spike. So if you want to go for Odin, which is this one here, and Odin is this one here. So you get now they buff the Odin +1 to all attribute as well as plus 3% base damage versus boss. It's not really that great, but it's better than it's not really that great, but it's an option there. And to do that, you probably need to pick something like the you have to pick one offensive, one defensive, and one utility. So offensive, you pick if you do a lot more melee, you pick a melee. Otherwise, you put a range. But in the event whereby you play both the range and both the range and the melee spec, like blade, then you have no choice. You have to pick the Hela, right? So and close the gap somewhere else, yeah. And so after that, you could have the either you have the Sith, which give you minus spirit cost, which I think is more useful, or plus spirit, which is this one here. This one is plus spirit. So it's either the Sith or the or the boulder. All right. So that's what you should consider doing. So. If you want to go Odin, so what you need to do, just pick Odin, all right? So pick one of the defense rating, I would, and after that, either Hela or one of the melee or ranged, and after that you could have the minus spirit cost plus damage rating, so on and so forth. So now, what should I do with my Captain America right now? Is brutal strike rating. So like I say, I'm a man of word, so that is rubbish. So I need to somehow rectify my problem. So you can exchange now. I would like to exchange to Hogan. So the Hogan would be, knowing that I wouldn't be able to fully. So I need to, hang on a sec. Let me just pull all this thing down. Okay, so I just do a craft, and it doesn't cost anything. And but I don't know how long this recipe is going to stay. I hope it's forever. then it would be really, really nice. You can just like, so now all is melee, power to the melee. All right, so that is great stuff. And so now in terms of the number wise, so I just did a reading on my live server. So right now the crit has dropped, of course. My physical crit is now only 52.2%. My live server was 55.9%, so it was down 2.7% already. And as for the brutal, now it's 37.7%, or even worse, because I was like before Hela. So 37.7% is my current one. In my live server, I had 53.9%, right? So so it is 16.2% down, right, for my brutal strike rating. And of course, my brutal damage rating is lower as well, by another 10% because of the hero synergy reward. Now after they nerf all these things, they've nerfed this one as well, so it's a plus 2% crit hit rating and so on. So it's not crit chance anymore. So that's why you see a crit drop. And also like things like the like Wolverine, it's just plus 5% brutal strike rating. So it buffs your brutal strike rating, but doesn't give you a chance to brutal higher directly flat chance. And same as the brutal damage. I think this is the same, right? I can't remember. Anyhow, don't bother anymore. So the next bit is really to play the game, because as you know, there is a dynamic combat level. So some of you ask like, how does it look like? I do not know really. So this is the first time I'm diving into a cosmic terminal to just play with you on what this one is. So now, I mean, how do I feel about it? Why am I? Man, I always pick the wrong one. I want Kingpin, but I always go to the Kingpin warehouse. Now, how many guys have you gone through the same mistake as mine? Yeah, probably. So I want Kingpin, Fisk Tower. So now, how do I feel about this whole thing? I mean, I'm rather disappointed that they didn't even listen to quite a lot of comments on making Hela a bit more useful. I'm actually very disappointed. Why? Because I think a game should make sense. It should be intuitive. So if given only 4 choices for the offensive power, if you are not summoner, not a pure range, not a pure melee, so intuitively you would pick Hela. And the fact that I'm not even picking Hela for Captain America, which is both a range and melee kind of hero, speaks a lot. So it just speaks about the failure of the system. People want diversity, I'm fine with that, but have something that makes sense. Let me call my team up. Okay, so I'm going to go in. This is after the whatever change they've done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this, okay, so that's funny. So this is this is called dynamic combat level. Something is wrong, is it? I don't know. It's even. Man, I'm a bit perplexed because this is I think the cosmic, maybe it's not turned up, maybe they're not tuned up yet. I don't know. It seems too easy, right? And but in any case, if you've gone through my numbers, the Hela was actually the old Hela, and compared to the 4 Hogan or 4 Loki, they're pretty much similar in any case. And as Captain America, who does close to more than around 70%, maybe melee, and I'm doing full Hogan, maybe it pays off. I don't know. So in any case, I'll see you online. I will spend a lot of time in the test center just trying out different combination of the artifact. Of the blessing, and to see to prove whether my theory is right or there's some gap somewhere, because you never know, right? All these are more like on theory. So I just double check, see whether I've got the wrong one or not, because I thought they're going to buff up the buff. Because so here's the funny thing, right? So I think it's part of marketing, right? So they say that all the mob health is being lowered because they are nerfing the brutal chance and the crit chance. But from my calculation, their blessing is actually as strong as the old Hela. So is that really necessary to nerf down the? I think for those who retain their Hela, maybe it's more useful. So I don't know, man. Sometimes I don't even know how they work anymore. And let me get rid of this guy. So and the so yeah. I mean that is really the end of the whole series. Just to get you started on what we have here. So what I suggest, what I was about to say is that on day one. I know you watched my video and you probably find it useful somehow, but do use this high health ray dummy to time yourself. So use four blessing. Maybe start with 4 Hela first. Your favorite one, and then just keep doing it, and just keep just doing all these things and see how long it takes to down a boss here. This is the so-called the dummy there. So you see how long it takes to down a dummy, and then after that you change some blessing, like maybe change to 4 Hogan. After that you think maybe I have 1 Hogan, 1 Odin, one of these like Sith, and then the other one is kind of like this one here, the Volstage. So you may want to swap things out a little bit and see time for yourself what the difference are. And if you feel that I probably need if you feel you need the kind of extra defense because you are quite new, you don't have enough gear or enough of whatnot, I totally understand that. Then by all means make your hero stronger. You can always sacrifice a couple of percentage of your DPS up to 5%. For some less optimal kind of I mean, after all, it does give you some defensive stats. So I think all in all they try to balance out a little bit on the end as well. And do try out. I mean, a dead hero cannot DPS. I always say that. I'm still under shock that things die so fast. So sorry. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you find this video useful, and do drop a notes below. After you've seen the live kind of version, how do you guys feel about it? Because I think you'll probably be ahead of me with the whole kind of thing. By the time they come out of the patch, I'll probably fall asleep, and I'll sleep through the whole thing. So you guys let me know how it goes, and all the best. Good luck. May Odin bless you. Bye.